Hey, this is Next Exhale here, and I just wanted to make this short video. I'm with the family taking a 2-day trip to Columbus, Ohio. That's where we are right now, in a hotel room. We're from Kentucky, and I wanted to talk about the issue of concealed carry permits when you travel. If you have a concealed carry permit, such as I do, I have a Kentucky issued one, there's some things that you need to consider when you're going to another state, and one of the things that you need to consider is the laws in that state. First of all, does that state have a reciprocity agreement with Kentucky? Just because you can carry a firearm concealed in your state because you have a permit to do so does not mean that when you go to another state that you can also carry one there. You have to make sure they have a reciprocity agreement, and what you need to do is go online and check out their state attorney's website and find out if a reciprocity agreement exists between your state and the state you're traveling to. There does happen to be a reciprocity agreement between Ohio and Kentucky, so I am legally able to carry my firearm concealed in Ohio. But that's not the only thing that you need to consider. There's other things to consider as well. The laws governing where you can carry your firearm and how you can carry your firearm in your vehicle and different places, for example, places that might serve alcohol or public places. The laws can differ from state to state to state, so just because you know the laws of where you can carry in your state doesn't mean that that's going to be valid information when you travel to another state. There are some differences between Kentucky laws and Ohio laws, and I had to look at those on the state attorney website and get myself familiar with where it is legal to carry and the laws governing concealed carry in Ohio. Also, well, let me give you an example of that. One example is when you're pulled over by a cop, a police officer in Ohio, you are legally obligated to inform them if you have a concealed firearm on you. If you don't do that, that is a criminal offense. As of last time I checked, that wasn't the case in Kentucky. So that's an important bit of information to have, and I learned that from going on the website and checking out the Ohio State Attorney's website. Also, one thing that you would want to consider is, where are you going? When you travel, where the places that you're actually going, do they allow the carrying of firearms? If not, you may have to keep the firearm in your car. Is it even legal to have it in the parking lot of where you're going? The hotel room you're staying, does it have a safe? Is there a place you can lock up your firearm? These are all things to consider. So you need to call ahead and check out websites and so forth and find that information out. Also, the use of deadly force laws differ from state to state. Just because you're just justified in certain situations in your state to use a firearm, which is considered an object of deadly force, or using deadly force, I should say, just because you're justified in that situation in your state doesn't mean you're justified in the state you're going to. For example, in Kentucky, they have a stand your ground rule, where if you are confronted, you can stand your ground, and if you are so justified, you can use deadly force to protect yourself. Whereas in Ohio, it's not like that. You have an obligation to retreat. So if you have a way to retreat from the situation safely, you are legally obligated to do that before you use deadly force. And that is an important distinction that can keep you out of a lot of trouble legally. Then you need to know that before you travel to another state if you plan on carrying your firearm. Another thing to consider is knife laws vary from state to state. Just because you can carry a blade of a certain length in one state doesn't mean that you can do so in another state, or a certain type of blade. For example, a switchblade, an automatic blade. might be legal in one state and might not be legal in another state. So you need to check out the knife laws governing the state in which you are traveling. That's another important factor. For example, in Kentucky, when you have a concealed carry license, it's called a CCDW, which means concealed carry deadly weapons. It's not just a firearms. It's not just covering firearms, but it also covers blades. So you have a lot of freedom in Kentucky to carry blades of different types, especially when you have a CCDW. That might not be the case when you go to another state, so you need to check out the knife laws in that state. Anyway, just wanted to share these hints with you. I hope you find that information helpful. Some things to think about if you're traveling and you plan on carrying your firearm with you and carrying a knife with you. God bless.